monkey. Okay.
And I'm trying to explain it so you understand it.
Alright, explain it real quick, then I'll explain why I disagree with it.
Obviously, there's going to be some limit with like what point it dismisses. But the basic idea is that fallacy limit is gay. So instead of putting you on a timer, dismissing points basically just means like if the fallacy actually directly affects your argument, we can dismiss that argument if it's fallacious. Like if you say an argument and the whole argument revolves around like a fallacy, or like it's stabled on a fallacy, or it has points that involve a fallacy that affect like the overall point, then you can dismiss it. Ad hominem, no one cares. It can just be like ad hominem can count up to something else. So anything minor, like or in that class of ad hominem, can be considered not devalidating your argument. But things like straw man would devalidate the argument because, like, you're trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. So, like, but a straw man doesn't like dismiss your argument, though. By the way, I mean,
with these rules,
not,
I mean,
not really. In like a sense, it does, but not really. So, like, you can go into the other rules. I actually just type them out in the lounge because, like, I'm not gonna remember all of them.
I will. Let me just fill up my water bottle. Give me a minute.
Thank you, black man.
If you're wondering why it's taking so long, I have one of those like big fat Gatorade water bottles.
That's crazy, bro.
Oh yeah, I'll go upstairs and I'll type out rules.
Like, while we wait for, like, you to finish whatever you're doing, I just need to, like, clear something up. Johnny keeps saying that he beat me in a debate, because, like, he won, like, a 1v5 that, like, I was in, but I didn't argue whatsoever. Like, I provided 0 assistance.
Well, you were in it, so he bet you, so shut up and stop complaining.
Shut up, black. I never provided any assistance.
I'm not fucking black, you stupid cunt. Noisy.
Stop beefing with the judge. Okay.
Indom, bro, I can't get over your voice, bro. It's funny as hell.
What is that?
It's intimidating, though. Big gruff Irish voice.
Shut your mouth, you dirty fucking American.
That was not an insult. That was not an.
I don't care. The noisy. Close your gob.
Alright, whatever. Yeah, I'll type out the rules now. Actually, I can put it in scans. Yeah.
The fuck are you giggling away at? The fuck is so funny? You fucking femboy.
No shit, you just got called a femboy by Indomino.
Chill out, bro.
Look at his profile picture and listen to his voice. He just gets it up the ass and he likes it. There's no other solution.
Oh, what else?
Chill out, bro. It's not that serious.
What? Fine.
Indomino,
I'm highly offended by it.
Are you in a bad mood today, Indomino?
No, I'm just Irish.
Oh, I love that. Anyway, check scans.
I'm playing GTA and I don't drive, so it's pissing me off. I'm on this call on PlayStation, if you didn't know.
Oh, well, it's probably why your mic quality sounds so much louder.
I could push my mic a little bit away if you want to.
It's not that bad, I'm just saying it just sounds louder. Anyway, you could check scans, Draco, like type down the rules there.
Monkey, what are we using VSBW for?
Just like the general scale, like tiers and all that.
It's an inverse debate. We don't use like tiers and shit.
I know. Just like basically, if we need to like go back to like a rule for a debate or like let's say like there was like a trouble with like definitions or how something worked in a debate, like if the SPW had the answer, we could use it.
Sure.
Like,
What was the debate again? Spinosaurus versus Indominus Rex?
Yeah.
Alright, grand.
Pretty late though. I don't think I might be able to
Honestly,
like.
I think the theory beats the Spino.
Oh, okay, you're a monkey
Good.
blackie.
No, I'm just spitting, bro.
Good.
I
Theory
think,
rapes the franchise.
I think Theory beats up Indominus Rex.
I agree.
Let's go.
I made that whole video.
I think theory.
Common, whatever the fuck your name is, W.
Are you talking about Draco or me?
I don't know. You're all the same to me. You're all black.
Actually, I'll have you know I'm light-skinned, and therefore I can identify as white.
No one gives a fuck what you are, you fucking skittle. Shut your mouth.
You go first. Unless you have more questions about the rules, Draco.
No, I don't have any other questions about the rules. So, like, you can...
Anything you want to specify?
Huh?
Anything you want to specify?
No, everything in the rules is fine. You can, I think,
Okay.
you can just go first.
Okay, I'll send some basics, guys.
Big E victims, oh god.
W. Actually, well, not Spino. He's too hot.
Spino's not hot, bro.
Big Edie hotter. She's female. Automatic rape victim.
Yeah, but so is Spino.
Domino, bro, I'm trying to...
True. That's true. What did you just say?
Nothing.
Good.
What's so funny?
I have other tabs open. I'm
Giggling.
looking at 'em, and they're like...
Of course you have other tabs open. You're looking at males being pounded.
God damn.
No,
How'd you know, bro?
no doubt.
How'd you know what I was looking
Because I'm smart. I'm smart like that.
Okay, I'll just send some.
I'm enjoying these big
I don't wanna.
black men.
I'll just send the link to the clip so I can use it as inverse. But
Okay, monkey.
Who you calling a monkey?
Huh?
Noisy.
What'd you say in Domino?
I said the noisy. Calling people monkeys.
Very noisy.
You don't actually get to like open your mouth today. You know what? You just lose
He
for
is
being a
called
fanboy.
a fanboy.
I'll get the results. Hold on.
Bro, wait.
okay. So in this scan, in this video, I found this clip from the movie. Spino broke the big old fence.
Uh-huh.
Do you know about how like the security works in Jurassic World and like what the ratings are for each thing, or do you need me to explain it?
Yeah, you need to explain it.
So in Jurassic World Evolution 2, which like the campaigns say it could be canon and all that, they list them like fences at like security levels for which fence is stronger, and at the very top of the security listings for that is the exact same fence in that video from JP3, which had the highest security rating. Basically, in all of InGen's fence catalog, that fence is the most powerful they have. It's the most durable, so there is no other fence in the franchise as powerful as the fence Spino broke in that clip.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, sorry, just clarifying all that.
Is
So, what else
the
did we
entire
get?
scaling?
I'm just calling it back then, saying piece after piece.
Just like hurry this shit up, bro. I'm trying to like go watch gay porn.
We know. Stop rubbing it in everyone's fucking faces. The noisy. Close your mouth.
God damn. You are getting absolutely beat up by a domino.
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
I'm not gonna do anything about it because like his voice is funny.
The first.
How is it funny?
scan is
I
about-
don't get this.
The first scan is about survival of the fittest, and basically it just explains how, in the point of view of its statement, Spino was the alpha dinosaur after the death of the Tyrannosaurus. The Tyrannosaurus is already the alpha of the island and already scaled above any form of other life form on the island. But when Spino beat him, he took alpha status and became the most powerful thing on the island, basically essentially becoming the like one apex predator to rule them all at that case.
Alright, I don't have any problems with that. What's the second one trying to prove?
Oh well, I'll explain that too. So that one's like basically talking about Alan Grant is somebody who has like personal up and close experience with JP1 Rexy, and he's talking about how like the JPT Spino was even more for like powerful, like ferocious. And I say powerful, even though I know it uses the words ferocious, but if you want to look at POV, it's talking about Alan Grant, and when it comes to ferocity and like somebody who's seen these dinosaurs up close, Alan Grant would be talking about strength since JP1 Rexy is like so he's seen JP1 Rexy up close. He knows how big and powerful he is, and he thinks the Spino is worse. He thinks this is a more terrifying monster, a beast that is more fearsome, like a creature that would be considered more powerful in Alan Grant's eyes. Due to it's just sheer unrivaled like rage and ferocity. It's kind of basically like the point of view that Alan Grant was giving was basically like the idea that Spino was more powerful than JP1 Rexy that he had seen years prior.
Yeah, that kind of just seems like being based on like your own subjective interpretation of like what he says.
Well, I'm not digging off of my point of view. It's stated from Alan's. It's stated to be like Alan's point of view.
Alan's point of view is just that the Spinosaurus is more ferocious. Being more ferocious doesn't inherently make you stronger. Like, for example, a lion or something might be more ferocious than a tiger. That doesn't mean a lion is like stronger than a tiger or whatever. Like, something can be more aggressive, like scarier. That doesn't make it stronger.
Well, I'm talking about the wording of the thing because the way I'm interpreting it is like he's trying to go off of like how
So you disagree that it's
animals
based
in
on
this
your own
franchise.
subjective interpretation and therefore irrelevant.
Subjective interpretation would be different from like interpreting the context of a scene,
Yeah,
but
you're
whatever.
interpreting the scan based on your own subjectivity using like misinterpreting the scan itself, which only states Grant remembers the sheer ferocity of T-Rex he encountered years ago, and his Spinosaurus is worse. Being worse doesn't inherently make you stronger. Like,
Yeah, I know, and I was gonna go into the wording. I thought he said ferocious. No, he means worse. Worse in this context is like if the Spinosaurus is worse than JP1 Rexy. Now we agreed to Oxford definitions, so I could get the definition of like worse or ferocious or ferocity if you wanted.
yeah, you can get those, but still, that's just meaning that like he says that it's worse in like the sense the Spinosaurus was far more aggressive than the T-Rex was. Like when Rexy breached containment in Jurassic Park 1 or whatever, she kind of just like wandered around and like ate some shit and stuff. The Spinosaurus was like actively trying to kill them 24/7, where Rexy was like far more casual with it.
The
Sounds
wording
like
there.
he's licking up a schlong in the background.
That's me drinking from the water bottle.
Wait, hold on. Before we continue, I think I have the original Jurassic Park novels where my bed is.
The original the novels are made by Michael Crichton. They are canon to the movies. They were the inspiration though. The stories are completely different.
I'm not gonna get them then. So like, do you have any refutations towards what I said?
Well, I was gonna more so explain the interpretation of worse in his POV because I think that worse could be defined as like yes, it would mean Spino was more aggressive, but I also think that like from how Alan Grant views these like creatures and how he's experienced them, I think like or not even as much as I think, but like I could infer to the idea that like worse could be defined as power because if something is if you okay think of it like this, if I was in the Amazon rainforest and I encountered like a jaguar or something, and then after that I encountered like a huge Siberian tiger, I would say the tiger was a worse than the jaguar. I would say that like this was a more ferocious big threat. Like, oh my god, that jaguar was bad, but damn, that tiger was even worse. Like you get the wording?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but the exact same thing can just be switched around. Like, I can encounter a big-ass tiger or something and say, oh, well, that's pretty bad. And then I can encounter, like, an entire pack of wolves, or, like, one wolf or something that's, like, super aggressive, like, passive big tiger versus aggressive small wolf. The wolf is going to be, like, worse and more ferocious.
Well, you said a pack of wolves. Hold on, you said a pack of wolves. I'm talking about
changed it because, like, a pack of wolves would probably be, like, one tiger.
More.
Same. So, like,
yeah, probably.
Because like one wolf is more realistic than a pack of wolves. Like one small wolf that's like really angry and actively trying to like attack you is gonna be worse than like one tiger who's like objectively stronger, but like is insanely casual and has no intention of attacking you whatsoever.
Well, I feel like that interpretation kind of it doesn't make as much like it doesn't make as much like relevance because there
The
aren't I
analogy
can't
that I
really think
gave
of
there is
any
just based
example.
on like everything that we know here. Rexy being like the casual tiger, and the Spinosaurus being like the ferocious fucking
Well,
wolf or
we're
something.
well, it's not like Rexy didn't try to kill them. I mean, Rexy
Yeah,
was
no,
fully
he tried to
intuition
kill them,
on
but
trying
she
to kill
felt
them.
more casual about it. It's not like that was her main goal. With the Spinosaurus, it was like more so playing a more active role in the part of like trying to kill them. In the fucking Jurassic Park 1, it was mostly the raptors trying to kill like Alan Grant and stuff, which is why Rexy felt like more just a more casual antagonist that was still trying to
Okay, well, I
kill.
think I think
It
what you
was
mean
not
is
as
like force of
active
nature,
like the
right?
Spinosaurus was.
You mean like force of nature,
No,
like
I
for
don't mean
Rexy?
like force of nature. I just mean like Rexy was kind of just like there, and
Okay,
he
well,
was like trying to kill them whenever
in
he
the
got the
examples
chance
I
to,
gave, it
while
was
the
just like
Spino was playing a
in
more active role in like the attempt to kill them. They encountered it like 3 different times, destroyed their plane, killed the Tyrannosaurus in front of them. And Alan Grant just saw the
well,
Spinosaurus doing a crap ton more than like he saw Rexy doing. So it's like natural. Like the Spinosaurus would be like worse and overall more ferocious than like a casual Rex.
in terms of like how it's shown in the films, while it is true Rexy wasn't as bloodless and aggressive as Spino, it's not to say that Alan didn't have a full point dedication of like Rexy trying to kill them. First of all, Alan had been face to face with Rexy multiple times. He had seen her like what she could do multiple times. He knew that this was like a dangerous animal that was intent on killing. I mean, if we look at the autopsy report after JP1, Rexy had gone on a complete massacre and slaughtered like I think 18 Gallimimus, so a Triceratops and tried to hunt a Brachiosaur. Um, Rexy was like clearly an aggressive beast that Alan had seen firsthand. He knew Rexy's ferocity and her power, and he had almost been killed by her as he had almost been killed by Spino. He had similar situation with both of them. Yes, Rexy was more chill about it because she wasn't as violently aggressive, but the overall motive of almost being killed by these powerful, ferocious animals was still there. So he had pretty similar experiences with both in overall goal because the way Alan saw it, because the way Alan was meaning this to was definitely radically different, but the overall of what had happened from the experience of Spino attempting to kill them and um, JP1 actually trying to kill them. It was like around the same thing. Just these larger aggressive animals trying to kill them. So I think the example of like being mauled by one and then mauled by the other and saying the other was worse was like a bit more into what it would mean because even if a tiger was more casual, I wouldn't say the angry wolf was worse because the tiger would always hurt me more. Like the tiger would have done more to me had it like even with a casual mauling an angry wolf could have ever done. Like the difference in like definition, like difference in comparison, like how it's put down is kind of noticeable. Because if we know that they were both JP1X and Spino both had the end goal of killing and pretty much traumatizing Alan Grant in both forms, like we know that
Well, that
like
wasn't
the end
Rexy's
goal
end
was so
goal
similar.
whatsoever. Rexy's end goal was just like eat food and shit. It's verbatim stated that like
Well, yeah,
Rexy needed a crap ton of food to like keep herself like up and shit. And when she started losing like her steady supply of food, that's when she started like getting skinnier and shit, as we see in Jurassic World.
well, that was for a few reasons, but yeah, I know what you mean. But I'm saying that like
You
even
know
if
what I
I'm not
mean
talking,
when like
I
they're
mean
like
her,
obviously
like
making
end
theories
goal.
derived based on like entirely different like logical foundations. Just saying.
Well, okay, I'm talking about the logical foundations of like end goals because I brought up the end goal, but Rexy's end goal may have just been to survive. But to Alan Grant, the point of view was around the same. Two large animals that are incredibly adept at killing things, as we've seen from both ends and statements from both ends. Like we're trying to kill him. Even if Rexy was more casual about it, it doesn't really change the fact that these were both just two giant animals trying to kill him. And they're both ferocious in their own right. But he outright pointed out that the Spino was worse, even after JP1 Rexy had already tried to kill him in the end goal that he was food and that he was a possible threat to her, like he had still considered Spino a worse threat because I know you brought up the wolf and tiger, but if a tiger if a like a chill if a more casual tiger who wanted to hunt me for food mauled me, it would still be worse than an angry wolf mauling me because the tiger is always going to be more powerful. So no matter if Rexy was laid back or not, like there would still be a huge amount of impact and effect on it. So Alan Grant directly stating Spino was worse honestly holds a little more like ground.
He's simply stating that the Spinosaurus is worse because his experience with the Spinosaurus was far more direct and far more like upfront than with Rexy. Rexy, yes, she was trying to kill them, but it's not like she was trying to kill them 24/7 every like time she saw them. It was like if there was something else she could go for, and it was like bigger, then she would go for that because her main goal there was literally just to survive. Well, the Spinosaurus seem to have like the fucking end goal to just straight up murder them. They have like 3 different encounters with the Spinosaurus. So ferocious in like this context or whatever should literally just fucking mean I just paragraph. No, that's crazy, bro. Ballsack's a bitch. So so like the context here literally just means that like the Spinosaurus is worse, as in like it's far more aggressive, far more ferocious, far more dangerous, far more deadly, more likely to like fucking spin the block on you and shoot you in the head with its homies than like drive off with a drive.
Is there any actual examples of Rexy outright ignoring the humans for a bigger meal? Because every single time Rexy had gotten like a glimpse of the human, she had gone straight for them. In the road attack, every time she saw a human, she booked it to kill them. Even Robert De Niro, the lawyer, who was just standing still, was still on the menu as she ever so slightly saw him. She didn't see them during the Gallimimus scene.
There was nothing else around except for like maybe the Gallimimus incident, but that's basically it. Like
she didn't notice them, yeah. In the Gallimimus incident, she didn't take priority of the Gallimimus. She didn't even know humans were there. So there isn't really any examples of Rexy favoring.
There's nothing else around, bro. Ooh, so like that's why she went for them. In like
I know. I'm just saying, there's like no examples.
There was raptors there, and they were attacking her, so she opted to go for those over the humans. Every time she has something like better, like more nutritious, she's gonna take that over like one small thing. Since like
I'm talking about like you actually like providing. I'm talking. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay, you already agreed earlier on that her main end goal was literally just to survive. Now, if we're taking like what survival means, that would mean going for like the bigger target over like one small target. Like if you're like a predator, you're gonna choose like one elephant over like 100 ants or something, because like the elephant's gonna be far more nutritious than like the fucking ants are gonna be. So since you already fucking agreed that like her end goal was fucking survival, it's logical to assume that she would be more likely to go for like one raptor, like a pack of raptors for a couple humans, couple Gallimimuses were a couple humans, etc., because they're much larger, more protein, more nutrition, etc., etc. And we're basically just going circular on this point, so we can just like appeal to the judge for verdict.
All right. Then I'll give my conclusion on that because I still have something to say about your point. Then we can just ask judge for verdict. You said survival. So what I was saying was like there is no direct conclusion or case of Rexy like choosing like these bigger animals because well every time she's found the humans they were alone. You said that, and she didn't see the humans any other time. I mean, she didn't even see the humans in the museum. She went after the raptors first. They attacked her, and she focused the raptors until they were all dead. And then humans were already gone by then. So there was never really a point where she actively like saw the humans like with other dinosaurs and had the chance to focus the humans. Who left?
That was Leafy who left.
Okay. There was no like real case of that. And what I'm saying is like, yes, Spino is more aggressive, but I'm talking about like in the way that these humans see it, in the way that they've experienced it, Rexy was going for them the whole time. Like even if Rexy had the opportunity to go for something else, because she is less aggressive, all the humans knew was that like Rexy was going after them and wanted to kill them. Like they didn't know that Rexy would have gone after anything else because they weren't around anything else to find out. Like so, to these humans, to Alan Grant especially, like they only see Rexy and Spino as chasing and trying to kill them. There's similar levels of aggression. Spino is still more aggressive, obviously, for separate reasons, but I'm talking about like aggression. It can't be the big deciding point here, is my thing. And I still think that like Alan Grant giving Spino the description of worse in the context of the examples and like how Alan Grant views JP1 Rexy and how he views Spino. I think saying worse would conclude to stronger. So yeah, we can get judge verdict.
I never got to give my conclusion. My conclusion.
Well, okay, then you can give your conclusion. Yeah.
Yeah, my conclusion is they just had like everything he said is basically an agreement towards me. My entire point was literally just that the Spinosaurus being stated to be like worse or whatever just is like in the intent of it being more aggressive, and he never really provided like any justifiable argument towards that. So that's basically my and you can like go and give your verdict.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the fanboy here, he won the point. He explained it a lot better than you did, Mondo.
W.
Like, wait, I honestly didn't hear his conclusion because my sister came in like you should be asleep, but I don't know. So, can you really quickly summarize your conclusion, Draco?
Oh, my conclusion.
Just so I know what you said.
Oh yeah, my conclusion was just that like your conclusion was basically just like agreeing to the majority of shit being like worse just means like more aggressive and blah blah blah. And that's basically a summary of what my conclusion was. It wasn't that long to begin with, so.
I don't remember. I remember saying, "Oh yeah, he's more aggressive," and then saying something along the lines of something else.
You basically
Anyway,
agreed to like the majority of shit I said.
All right. Well, let me see what the scales we're gonna send.
Like my scaling now, I guess.
Well. We were just contending this point. I never said I was done at scaling. Because I don't know, you went for your debunk sub mid-scale.
Yeah, okay, you can move on with your scaling then, monkey. We're gonna be here for a while.
Also, I may have gave you the point, but I still fucking hate you. Just so you know that.
I don't know, I don't remember agreeing to that. I just said, yeah, she's more, Spinal's more aggressive, but like, in that context, I don't think it matters. Whatever. I'll send a quick size thing.
If you're arguing size, I don't think size matters.
In inverse, it does. 100%.
Not really.
Why would you say that size doesn't matter in inverse?
Since we're using like fictional characters, assuming that like weight and size matters, just like an appeal to reality. I mean, we can.
First of all, Jurassic World is a verse that's bound by reality. I mean, I don't know if you know how physics work in Jurassic World, but like, considering the fact that these are
logic, like if we're using Camp Cretaceous, there's dinosaurs getting like flung around like they're cartoon characters and shit. It's insane.
Well, we aren't using Camp Cretaceous. We're just using base movies and stuff.
So it's like logic.
No, it's not. You could say that it's not canon.
Listen, okay. I understand your small, feeble mind doesn't understand that, right? But
shut your mouth, you dirty cunt. Noisy. Insulting people.
Monkey. Alright, so Jurassic Park has like insanely inconsistent levels of logic, right? Like in the Giga versus Rexy fight, Giga just like uses its superior weight and like height to overpower the fuck out of like this monkey named Rexy, right? But like in other times, we see like this same form of logic getting tossed out the window. Oh, in like Camp Cretaceous specifically, where we get characters being thrown around like they're cartoons and shit. Namely, the Spinosaurus getting kicked around by a fucking Carnotaurus. That doesn't make sense, does it, right? Correct.
I don't think I remember that scene. I'm pretty sure Spino didn't get kicked by Toro.
Toro was... he never got kicked by Toro, but he got bitched by like a Stegosaurus, and that same Stegosaurus did like...
The Kentrosaurus?
Carnotaurus. He got fucking flung and shit, bro. It was like an entire cartoon. It's funny as hell.
Well, first of all, Camp Cretaceous is a literal children's show, and you can prove that's not canon. Off of Ewan's statements and shit, because Ewan's had like a physical document about the internal universal timeline.
Just move on.
Well, I still need to prove that sizes matters because it's a big part of my argument.
So yeah, size matters. I move.
Okay.
Actually, let me watch this.
I read they talked about you can only imagine, what it would be like to have two giant 8-ton theropods battle.
That's crazy, bro.
It was referring to Bull and Spino, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Move on, monkey.
Well, we already agreed Spino's above Sora, so I'm
Yeah,
not going to send that
move on,
scan.
nigga. Unless this is the
I
entire
am,
scan, then we can just move on to mine.
I'm my god, I'm getting no stuff. Hold on.
Hurry up, monkey. I'm gonna fucking shit myself.
Me too.
Relatable. Roses are red, violets are blue. This song is mid. I wanna die or something. However that song goes.
W.
Niggas really nerding me, bro. That's making me really sad, man.
Me too.
Oh, bro, you better not be giving him arguments and shit, bro.
I don't think he's giving me arguments. He said yo or something. I didn't read the rest.
That's crazy. W Al.
Anyway, I'm just gonna send that because I don't know.
Reading all that, bro.
What do you mean?
World Fallen King of Time was the largest carnivore. We watched this stand.
That's pretty much my scale. I don't think I need to send anything else.
Is this just more size shit?
It's more stuff about size. Yeah, it's just kind of in Jurassic World. Size is a big narrative thing.
Well, you see, this first scan is the only thing I have problems with. Let me look at the other stuff. So, where are you trying to scale the Spinosaurus's height to?
Well, 19 feet tall.
Okay, so
around anywhere from 8 to 9 to 10 tons, anywhere in that range, and
so
40. Not 40 feet long. Let me see.
So 19 feet tall. Is that what you said?
Yeah, for base size, not weight.
Alright, congratulations on a self-defeating argument considering a previous thing you sent stated 16 feet tall. Now that you're trying to go into 9 feet tall, you would just be providing contradicting scans or whatever.
Oh no, that if you read the thing, that scans for JP3 Spino. The one above is for Camp Cretaceous. It's two different things.
Which one is for JP3 Spino?
The one that's 16 feet tall. The 19 foot tall one is Camp Cretaceous. It's two differentiated versions of Spino. Camp Cretaceous is more aged.
I don't. This shit is so blurry. Yeah, I can't read that.
I don't know why it's so blurry. It had a higher quality version somewhere.
Let me just try to enhance this quality real quick. Alright, so it says height at the top of the head is 16 feet and the top of the crest is 19 feet. And then the other thing
is, he during JP3 he was around that large.
And then the other thing just states over 11 feet tall, but that's probably in reference to an IRL Spinosaurus, not JP Spinosaurus.
Yeah.
It's what's the video you're trying to prove before I watch it?
Well, you can skip to 30 seconds and watch it real quick. I'll watch it too, because I'm not the one who made this scan, so I'm gonna check.
Is impressive.
Real quick.
The Spinosaurus is
I believe he's just saying that Spinosaurus is the largest carnivore.
No, the largest of carnivores. Okay. It's is this?
Yeah, but it just says perhaps the largest of carnivores. If you want me to prove that Camp Cretaceous is canon, I have the.
Okay, so now we're just
stuff. Not Camp Cretaceous, Jurassic World Evolution 2.
Alright, so it states perhaps the largest carnivore doesn't inherently state that it is the largest carnivore. So it's a possibility, not guaranteed. So we can just argue in a possibility there, or what do you want to do?
Well, I think Cabot Finch has listings. I'm pretty sure in Jurassic World Evolution 2 there was a couple big theropods. There was in T-Rex, Spino, and then two other big ones. I'm pretty sure it's in reference to all of those.
It's in Jurassic World Evolution.
It's in 2, yeah. It's in.
My problem here
is
that
in
it
both.
states perhaps the largest theropod or carnivore or whatever doesn't inherently mean that it is. Blah blah blah. Al sent me a DM. Yes, it's Indom versus Spino. And I'm winning. I got like 1 point.
Yeah, he took the first point about JP and Rexy. Me personally, I don't even know why. Anyway, I don't think I need anything else.
So you don't have like any refutations towards this?
Well, most of my I think it's gonna be during my Indom debunks and shit that I'm probably gonna bring up my main argument. But if you want, I can bring it up now because it's gonna be comparing Indom to Spino. So should I do that during my scale or like during my debunks?
And just like finish your scale now, because during debunks you can't like send anything else for your scale. You can send shit to like debunk it though. Like I would like.
Okay, well then I'll send the main scans that I
Real
need.
quick though, before we continue, do you have any refutations towards what I said about the Spino being the largest continent?
I don't really care about the Jurassic World Evolution Tuesday mix. I have actual listings. That's more so just like cherry on top scale type thing.
Al says that he says goodnight and he loves y'all.
Yeah, so do we. So do you know how heavy Rexy was in Jurassic World?
Like I'd say 13 pounds.
I'm taking that as legitimate. Rexy was 13 pounds.
No, I don't. I'm not being literal there. That's just like
I know. She weighed 6 tons, which is
that's a lie.
pretty small for.
She weighed like 14 pounds. Get it right, retard.
Obviously. Okay. Anyway, so during Jurassic World, she was just pretty underweight. There were a lot of scenes where we could see her ribs. I'm pretty sure you know about those.
Yeah.
Just a lot of overall emaciation and just weakness throughout Rexy. Like she was not at a point of prime. Like because if her feeding schedule basically shows us that like she was being fed bare minimum to even survive. So yeah, she was not being kept very healthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that final battle. Okay, I'll get through it. So in that final battle, this 6-ton Rexy, even before, actually, you want me to stream the fight so I can kind of show you which scenes I'm talking about?
I don't fucking know. Just sound like a clip or something. I just want to know what you're trying to argue with.
I don't have the fucking clips. Okay, I'll just go to YouTube and show it to you from there.
If you have it on YouTube, then you do have the clips. The fuck?
I have the clips. I'm just not gonna like get a clip. I sent the video. It's just like I want to bring up like specific clips to show you my point.
Then just tell me the timestamps.
Oh shit! No, fucking. Okay. Well, whatever. I'm already streaming, so you might as well just watch so we can
kill yourself.
Loaded tabs. Because we're a pizza company, we loaded up
So
pizza toppings.
basically, Rexy in Jurassic World weighed an incredibly small amount. Like the actual amount of force and exertion she would be exerting, like when slamming into or throwing around Indom, would be pretty meager considering how little she weighed. But she was still complete.
Like a lot less than like usual, right? But this would just mean that Rexy would be more aggressive than usual. Like, so you know.
Why does this lead to aggression?
What?
Why does this lead back to aggression? I'm talking about how Indom and Rexy both weighed 6 tons around the time of Jurassic World.
I'm using aggression to say that like her being malnourished isn't like an anti-feat towards the Indom.
Her aggression isn't upscale her power. She's always going to be angry if she's getting damaged by another theropod.
Upscales like her want to win or whatever, and like
her will to win doesn't upscale her overall physical strength. If she was still in a weakened physical...
You're misunderstanding what I'm trying to say here. I'm saying...
What you're trying to say doesn't sound great.
Because she's insanely, like, much weaker here, underweight or whatever, and she'd be, like, much faster than, like, Fat Rexy or some bullshit like that.
She's faster by, like, combat reaction standards.
Okay, we're ending the stream. Alright, so what I'm trying to say here is that because she would be acting more ferocious and more like angry and shit, right? She would be more likely to be attempting more shit, and she'd be like less calculated. With Vi being like less calculated,
So are you saying her combat was worse?
No, I'm not saying her combat is worse. I'm saying that because she's insanely aggressive and like not as calculated as like during Dominion or whatever, or even though she would have more battle experience like in original Jurassic Park, since she's like super aggressive, she's more likely to like try to put more force into her bite than like normal. Like
Draco,
if she was
that doesn't.
like plenty, if she was like
Draco,
plentiful
she
and
would
not
have
fat or
no.
whatever,
Draco,
she wouldn't be as desperate.
she first of all, she's always trying to kill her opponent in all of her fights, dominion or not. She has no reason to ever hold back her bite, and if she ever was holding back her bite, it wouldn't make any form of sense with who Rexy is and how she fights.
You are
So
once again
there's no evidence.
misunderstanding my argument. That's nice.
I what?
You're misunderstanding what my argument is.
I'm saying you're saying that she's more aggressive. She's a scrappier fighter. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying because she's more aggressive, she'd be more likely to like pull out bullshit tactics to win, and by being more aggressive, like blah blah blah, being more aggressive just.
She didn't.
What?
Okay, you can say she's more likely. I don't know if you talked about possibility earlier, but that kind of falls into this. But anyway,
possibilities here.
Anyway, we saw how she fought Indom. It's how she would normally fight any other theropod. If we look at tactics and how she fought Indom, she didn't do any dirty tactics. If anything, she fought for her first time ever fighting another large theropod. She fought as expected. She did 3 things. She bit Indom, usually around the neck or the head, using her jaws, and she would never hold back bite force. She threw her around using her own, power and strength. She threw Indom around. She ragdolled her, and she shoved in, punctured Indom's skin. Like she had a very routine fighting style where she used her body and her jaws as tools to throw her around and ragdoll her. That's not like her aggression didn't change that fighting style. She doesn't fight differently because she's less aggressive. I don't know if you know this about Rexy, but the only reason she was even fighting differently against Giga is because Giga was so much faster than her that she was quite literally unable to actually keep up with him during that fight. And even when she landed a hit, it didn't do anything because, Giga was so much superior to her. But the aggressiveness isn't changing her fighting style. She's not acting like in a dirty way, or she's not fighting any differently because she's just fighting like a T-Rex.
Alright, is that everything?
Well, if your entire argument was that she's going to fight dirty, then that's all I really.
Wasn't that she was fighting dirty. My argument is that via malnutrition, she would be more desperate to win.
Okay, so desperate to win. Why does that suddenly mean that she's going to be fighting in a way that's different? Yes, she's desperate to win, but she can't exactly do anything special.
I'm saying that she's more desperate to win. She's more likely to attempt stronger, blah 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 and shit.
But why would she attempt weaker on an enemy that's considered stronger? That doesn't make any sense. Why would she be directly trying? If she wants, every single time she's fought another theropod, she's tried to kill them. We know that. Why would she be pulling her punches on them if she wants them dead? That doesn't make sense.
Pulling her punches. In fact, I don't even know what I'm arguing because it's 1 a.m.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm saying, aggression doesn't actually equate to her strength or her skill, and the way she fights doesn't change because, she's just fighting like a T-Rex in any form of basic way or form of combat.
Alright,
so, yeah, that's pretty much all I need to say.
Explanation as to why Rexy being malnourished is an anti-feat here. Okay, so as you explained, for Rexy's first fight, she did everything she was supposed to. This was also Indom's first fight, so Indom's first fight and Rexy's first fight, not necessarily an anti-feat, since neither of them really know how the hell you're supposed to dodge, weave, and attack and shit. After Rexy was beating the fuck out of Indom in super close quarters, there's the Indominus backed up a little bit and started using her arms, so the Indominus has reactive evolution towards oncoming attacks and adapt to whatever the fuck Rexy's throwing at her.
That's not really how it happened.
That's in the fight. During the first part of the fight, Rexy bit her, threw her into the ground, was beating the shit out of her. Indom moves back a little bit and then starts beating the hell out of Rexy using her arms. And now that she has an upper hand advantage, she understands what Rexy's doing. She can just use superior body parts or things to get the advantage over Rexy, and that's exactly what she did in the fight.
So that's not reactive evolution.
That's
not really. Not even. Not.
That's
Definitely not.
Adapting. If you're adapting to the way your opponent fights, then you're evolving to counter that.
Indom didn't adapt to anything. She didn't adopt a new form. She had already used her arms at multiple different points.
Yes, she has used her arms before. But she adopted to use her arms against Rexy. At first, her original...
Let Mondo finish his point, you fucking cunt. Noisy.
What?
I said let Mondo finish his point.
Trying to go through with my main deal before I forget what you said.
I don't even remember what I was saying. Actually, yes, I do remember what I was saying. What I am trying to say here is that you're not understanding how the fight went. Yes, she has used her arms prior to this fight, but originally her fighting style was just to walk up there, use her jaw to beat the hell out of Rexy. That didn't work, so she backed up a little bit, ducked under a bite from Rexy, then started using her arms to pull Rexy into the ground, and then she started winning, and then Blue came along, plot armor bullshit, and she gets bitched up by the Mosasaurus. That's exactly how
are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of what you just said, it's no problem. So yes, Indom was already using her claws, you know that. Her main fighting style had always involved her claws. She used it against the Anki, the Apatosaurus, the Brachiosaurus. She used her claws against everything. It's not new for her to use her claws. She isn't adapting to anything. She was just simply... First of all, she had never fought another theropod, obviously. You already said this. Both of them were inexperienced. Rexy was performing better. You said they were mutually inexperienced, did you?
I said it was new for her to do that against Rexy. Her original approach was just to go in and bite her, and when that didn't work, she ducked under a bite from Rexy, then using her arms, and then she started...
She didn't even duck under that bite. Honestly, that whole thing is just a spew of context. First, what happened in that scene, Rexy had Indom by the neck and was holding her back. Indom was biting and trying to escape. As Indom kept struggling, Rexy's bite slid across her back to a point where she couldn't keep holding Indom's back or neck because it was an awkward angle for her. So Rexy had to let go and try to reposition herself to bite Indom's face again. So while doing that, Indom, who got free because Rexy was forced to let go by the angle, moved her head to try and get in a better position to try and bite Rexy again. Rexy was trying to move herself to get into a better position. They were both moving. Rexy, unfortunately, scuffed her own bite. Indom didn't even dodge it. Rexy moved her neck to try and bite Indom again. Indom was moving to try and get out of Rexy's grasp, and Rexy scuffed the bite. And once Rexy was under...
That's not what happened whatsoever. So, here, let me just rewind it a little bit. So, what happened is... Rexy bites the Indominus escapes the grab, and then Rexy goes in for another bite. The Indominus ducks under, then gets away and starts using her arms and starts battering the fuck out of Rexy, and Rexy starts getting pushed from there.
Here, I'll rewatch the scene just for you.
The timestamp, it starts at 5:27.
Yeah, so Rexy is holding Indom, then Rexy bites her neck and ragdolls her, and right then, Rexy bites Indom's neck, pushes her forward. So I was never done. Can I talk? I never finished. So Rexy bit Indom's. Okay, I'm trying to explain because you said Indom dodged the hit, and I'm telling you that's not exactly how it happened. Rexy bit Indom. I just rewatched the scene. I'll give you what happened. Rexy bit Indom, shoved her forward, which pulled Indom out of her own grasp. She slid out of her teeth. Rexy tried to bite her, tried to bite the top of her head again. Indom was already moving. When Indom escaped her grasp, she was already mid-moving. She was just trying to get to a better position. So she swung her head a bit, and when Rexy bit, she scuffed the bite and missed, which caused Indom to already be at a superior angle. She moved, raised her body, and just slapped her in the face a few times. Then grabbed her head, and instead, she didn't throw her anything. She tipped all of her weight to one side. She didn't do anything special. When she grabbed Rexy's head, she turned her and Rexy's body to one side, which caused all of Rexy's weight to imbalance, tipping over to one side, causing Rexy to fall over. Indom wasn't doing anything of incredible notes for battle IQ because this was already something that was a part of her main arsenal that she had used multiple times before. She tried to bite her. It failed. She got shoved into a position where her arms were near her face, so she just started battering Rexy by randomly slapping her face with the claws until she grabbed it because she had an actual good reach at that moment in time, and Rexy was below her. The context of the scene doesn't show that Indom dodged her. It just shows that Indom got in a better position by trying to maneuver around, by by trying to like maneuver herself to escape Rexy's bites, which she didn't even end up doing because the way she was moving just meant that Rexy scuffed her bite rather than her actually dodging it.
Alright, so is that everything?
I feel like this whole point has more to go, but if you just want to keep talking about Indom's combat, you can go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So, what you're saying here is like that Rexy's teeth slid out and then Indom was already under, and that's why they dodged. If you look in the background, like when Indom like supposedly bringing her arm down, you can see Rexy's like already like attempting to bite her neck, and that's when the Indom like swings her neck like under Rexy and then it's like back up in like a more upper position and then starts battering her with her claws, which is not what she was doing whatsoever at any other point in the fight until now, which means that she is just adapting to do this against Rexy, since at every other point in the fight she was just like relying on her jaws and maybe once or twice tried to slap her with the claws but didn't really try to. But only at this point did like the Indominus start actually trying to like batter Rexy with her claws, and the moment she starts using her claws, Rexy just gets completely overwhelmed and destroyed. Like, even if we assume that it was via pure chance that, like, the Indominus escaped, like, the grab or whatever, which I don't think it is, this doesn't defeat the fact that, like, Rexy was still getting absolutely bodied the instant the Indominus started using its claws in the fight. So, yeah. With its claws, the Indominus was slamming her.
Yeah, for Indom dodging the bite, like, I rewatched it a few times. Yes, Rexy was mid-lunge, but that's because Rexy was just trying to get another grab. Indom was trying her best to get out of Rexy's grasp at that point, and the second she pulled out and was already mid-moving, she tried to get herself out of that position, and when moving, Rexy scuffed her, and when Indom started moving...
Can you restate that?
Yeah, I was talking about how, like, in that scene... Like, the second, like, Rexy, pushed Indom far enough that she slid out of her teeth, and Indom was, like, desperately trying to escape another grasp, she moved, and when Rexy was mid-bite to try and grab her face again, the way Indom moved caused her to scuff that bite, and when Rexy scuffed that bite, Indom was already in that, like, circular motion, so she swung herself over her, and that was the only point, that was, like, the one point in the fight where Rexy's head was near Indom's claw, so she raised her posture a little bit, and just started violently smacking her in the face. She didn't really do anything to Rexy besides cut her skin. It just caused her to back up. What actually took Rexy down was the grab to the head, and it imbalanced her weight. Like, if it wasn't for her dexterity and battle IQ, Indom 100% would have lost this fight due to how badly she was being already overpowered. In terms of physicality, Jurassic World Rexy was showing to be superior to Indom, like, throughout that entire fight. Had it not been for Indom's dexterity and battle IQ, like, there would not have been that scenario of Indom winning, because Indom only ever won because she got in Rexy on the floor, and that just opportunity where her claws were good enough to use on Rexy. Because if we look at the fight, and even after Blue showed up, I mean, it's not like Blue was doing anything it's not like Blue showing up when Indom wasn't able to try and overpower Rexy. Like, Blue is a distraction, but that doesn't mean that, like, it was tampering Indom's physical strength. So Rexy horribly overpowering Indom at that point, it just further solidifies like the physical difference between the two, and how Rexy's physicality can be proven like to show superiority to what Indom was doing. Even if we look at how the fight went down, even right before the head smacks from Indom, Rexy had Indom in this ragdolling death grip that threw Indom around so violently that she ended up slipping out of Rexy's jaws because of how like badly she was being flung. And it was in that split moment of Indom's mid-movement trying to keep away from another grab and Rexy's desperate bite for another hit to the face where Indom got that one scenario where the claws were closer enough to her head for Indom to actually utilize. Because was there really any other point in the fight where Indom's claws would have been usable? If Rexy was charging headfirst at her, like, I don't think there was any other point in the fight where Indom's claws could have been used to stop that. Because Rexy always had Indom in this death grip that was throwing her around. In the majority of the time, her claws were either pointed to another direction, not long enough, or outright would have not helped in the scenario. Like, that was the one were the actual factor. It's not like Indom had tried to use her claws, by the way. Indom had flailed her claws around in the very first hit of the fight when she got dragged upwards, just trying to stop Rexy. Even when she was being ragdolled, like right before she was swinging her claws trying to stop Rexy. She swung her claws a lot. It just didn't have any avail until she got in that position that was good enough for Indom to actually land those blows. The difference in physicality is huge because obviously at this point, Draco Rexy has shown herself to be physically superior, and it was Indom's battle IQ and dexterity that gave her like the edge here. Like most of the time, Indom's arms were just a crutch that didn't help until one specific moment. The difference in how Indom's arms helped was pretty big in like this like opportunity or scenario.
And that's because like the Indominus's arms aren't like useful like when you're being fucking death gripped or some shit like that. Which is why like during that one specific scene when she gets like a little bit of distance from Rexy and she's able to like actually start using like her arms and shit. That's why
she actually uses her. She uses her arms right before
Mondo. I'll let you talk, Abe. In the first scene of the fight where she like flails her arms around, that's just straight up out of pain. I'm not denying that like Rexy is physically superior in terms of like shoulder strength, neck strength, bite force, etc. Because Rexy did, because like the Tyrannosaurus has consistently shown to have like stronger bite force and like Jurassic World compared to like the other dinosaurs, except for maybe debatably the Giga, but you know it's like a different story because like way smarter shit and blah blah blah. But yeah, like in the scene that you're referring to, she's just flailing her arms in like a desperate attempt to like escape the death grip, and like she never got any other chance to until that one time when like Rexy like shoved her back enough, like apparently her teeth slipped or something, according to you, which like led.
Yeah, she ragdolled Indom so violently, like she came loose.
Monkey Black Man Barrow, which is like
You said according to
a
you.
chance to like duck under Rexy's like bite or whatever, and then use her claws to attack. If like the Indominus were to like use her claws from the very beginning, the outcome would literally just be the same. She would still just be beating the hell out of Rexy with like the claws instead of like getting death gripped until that one very specific moment. We're basically just going circular at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. I do have some stuff to say. When I said she was like using her arms, there were multiple other points in the fight where you could see. Well, I still had to slow it down to see this part, but right when Rexy's like grip slips out, like Indom slips out of her grip because of how violently Rexy shook her, you see her bang her claws against the side of Rexy's hip as she revolves her head to try and avoid like being grabbed again, and that's when Rexy scuffs her bite. Like in that moment is like. Yeah, I'll see if I can get it. Just make sure to slow it down to like as slow as you can get, so like you can see the scene I'm talking about. I'll give you the timestamp in a second.
I see what you're talking about here. I see the Indominus slapping Rexy with her claw like once after like flailing them around a little bit. And,
yeah. She slaps Rexy in the side. Like the camera even shakes when it happens. Like if you're in 0.25, you can see it, but she slaps her in the hip. Yeah.
The time when she slaps Rexy though, that's like around when she starts really using her claws in the fight. Up until that,
that's when she tries
relying on like her bite force. Like you can see that in other parts when instead of just like slapping Rexy more consistently, she just tries to bite. Like right before this moment at like 5:25, you can see like the Indominus, instead of like trying to arm slap, it just tries to bite instead. So the Indominus up until that point was mostly just relying on like her bite force, which I agree Rexy's like stronger than bite force only, but with like all of her fucking shit like arms and crap, I believe that the Indominus is stronger because that's what's shown in the fucking fight. So we can just go to conclusions at this point.
I was just gonna look through the fight to see how it happened, and I do agree that Indom was using her bite more in the early stages of the fight. So you can see at the start of the fight, Indom completely misses one of her bites on Rexy's neck, and Rexy grabs her and launches her into the air while Indom kind of flails and tries to stop it. Rexy is like kind of just shoving and bullying Indom at these early stages of the fight because Indom is being physically overpowered, and throughout those points. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find more. I'll since the scenes are slowed down, I'm gonna watch the fight and see if there's any more differential points where she swings her arms like vividly. Because here, Rexy has Indom in like the death grip. Then Indom lands a single bite to Rexy's neck, which causes the awkward angle. Rexy let goes. Indom fails, whiffs another bite, and Rexy grabs her and flails her around. The fight was honestly pretty short for what it was, like for how many like hits they landed on each other. But it was right around like right after the middle of the fight when Indom slammed her claw into Rexy's side.
Yeah, I just watched up to that point.
So,
She was
while
really
there was
just
some
relying on, like, her
supposed
bite force and nothing else, and then when she realized that wouldn't work, then she realized, I should probably use my claws, and that's when she started like slamming her claws against Rexy's side or whatever. Like,
honestly, I feel like this all kind of downscales Indom's battle IQ because she literally did not use. No, I'm not gonna take. Don't take that as the most serious claim ever. But the fact that she actively wasn't smart enough to use her claws from the start of the fight, despite them being one of her clearly most valuable weapons, that she's used them to kill. She used them to kill the Apatosaurus. They helped her against the Ankylosaur, and she used them to break bulletproof glass. She knows her claws are valuable weapons, but she didn't use them until she was getting her ass beat. Like, I think it really just shows that, like, Indom isn't as smart, like, in terms of when a fight, because she waited that long to even attempt to use her claws. And even then, like, her claw, when it slammed into Rexy's side, it didn't do anything. Like, it didn't stop Rexy from mauling her. It only ever stopped Rexy when Indom used her claws to grab and imbalance her weight. The slaps never really did much damage besides the actual claws cutting her a little bit. But other than that, I think there's, like, this point can mostly just go to conclusion, I think.
real quick, before we go to conclusions, I just have, like, one little short thing to say. So, like, this isn't really like an anti-feat towards the Indominus's IQ. Throughout the movie, she was like negative diffing everything that she fought, besides maybe the Anki. That was still basically negative diffing.
We don't even know how the other fights went down. Like, the only fight that we saw with the Ankylosaur, we don't know how any of the other fights went down. Like, we don't know how long it took.
Go based on like a logical assumption that she had like a pretty relatively easy time with the other targets, which is why she built up like a sort of cockiness against Rexy, and that cockiness got turned against her, and so she decided to just like use her bite force and shit. And then
they were both. She wasn't cocky against Rexy, by the way. I don't know if you know the Owen statement, but they were both trying to kill each other. Like, they both wanted each other dead. So Indom wasn't exactly playing with Rexy. They really did both just want to kill each other.
While fighting them, like Mondo was trying to kill people actively throughout the war arc, yet he was still cocky as shit and popping jokes every like 3 episodes.
Yeah, but the point is that they were like bloodless. Because I know a bloodless Imatra isn't going to be cocky, and a bloodless Indom isn't going to be cocky,
Well, obviously. But, like, even though they wanted to kill each other, or, like, the Indominus can still be, like, cocky or whatever. And, like, even, you can count it as an IQ anti-feed or whatever. I don't really mind that. I'm just arguing this because I'm bored and shit, and I like nothing else to do if we were to end the debate.
That's fair enough.
But, like, just continuing on with this right before we go to conclusions. I know I'm dragging this out. My bad, monkey. But, like,
fine.
What the hell was I gonna say? Never mind, I forgot what I was gonna say. My conclusion.
Well, yeah, I did conclusion last time, so you can do it.
I know, that's what I was trying to do, you ape. My conclusion is literally just that we went circular for like the entire time. We made 0 progress whatsoever. We made a little bit of progress, but for the most part, we kept arguing like the exact same things. And like occasionally, we made like a small bit of progress towards the argument. So neither of us really did anything justifiable. Mondo also agreed to like my main point on like the arm thing being like the Indominus's main advantage, and she only started winning when she started using her arms here. So like Rexy doesn't really count as an anti-feat towards her. That's my conclusion.
Yeah. All right. Well, my conclusion is that you agreed that this smaller version of Rexy is completely physically superior to Indom, and that this version of Rexy that has like
force and like the shoulder strength and shit. Like if she were to shove her entire body weight into someone versus like the Indominus shoving their body weight, the Rexy would maybe be stronger. Like,
well, it wasn't maybe, because like throughout the fight it happened a lot, because Blue wasn't affecting like how Rexy was how Indom was like doing physically against Rexy, but even at that point Rexy was like super heavily overpowering Indom. Like You can really watch those segments if you want, but Rexy grabbed and was like threw Indom horizontally. Her physical strength was so strong that this she picked up it, like kind of picked up this animal that weighs just as much as she does and threw it so hard that it shattered into the steel fence. Like
that's why.
yeah.
And that's why I disagree to like Rexy's like jaw strength and shit being stronger. I don't agree to like overall
I don't
Rexy, like her entire body being stronger. Like just like if they were to have like an arm wrestler or whatever, Rexy would like grow her arms.
arm wrestle.
Yeah, don't ask questions. Like if they were to have like the same long arms or whatever, I think the Indominus would just win that. I think like in terms of like jaw strength, and the Rexy is like stronger in terms of that. She has like a much better build for like the fucking biting than the
Yeah, also Indom has like no bite effectiveness. Her teeth are like she's probably one of the worst dental besides Scorpius, she has her dental plan is awful. She has like her teeth, they're different in sizes. They're weirdly spaced and they're pointing in multiple directions. They like even if she bit Rexy as hard as she could, the way those teeth would barely be puncturing her and probably wouldn't be doing as much damage as Rexy's like, organized normal rows of teeth. So in terms of actual bite capability and like who's more robust and like who's hurting who more, like with their physical strength, I'd say Rexy was taking that because of what we saw in the fight. Because throughout the fight, and Rexy consistently put in this place where she couldn't fight back or she couldn't do anything until she got put in this good enough position for her to like use her arms, which she had tried to use earlier, failed, and now she had a better chance. Like physicality, I think it goes pretty easily to Rexy in terms of like overall body strength because it's just what happened. Like overall body strength, they had a lot of shoving matches, and Rexy was winning all those shoving matches with her overall body strength. Like when at the start of the fight, Rexy bit her and threw her. Then Rexy bit her neck later and ragdolled her. Then she threw in horizontally in a whole toss, and she body slammed her into a building. Like I think enough of what Rexy has shown physically shows like actual proper physical superiority. But Indom has better battle IQ and strategy and dexterity, which is what gave her like the overall edge after being beat up horribly.
And then in Domino, both me and Mondo brought up shit that we didn't actually argue in the debate. So like don't really count that. I was just like correcting him on what I was agreeing to when I said Rexy's like stronger. I just mean she has like I agree to her having stronger like jaw strength, not her having like stronger like muscle or whatever, just her jaw strength and shit. Yeah.
However, so my point is that I think like my proper conclusion is that I think like Rexy was shown to be super physically superior to Indom because of like how she treated Indom throughout the fight and how she handled her. And she was already a light in Mount Hershtainess, and like her physical strength, she wouldn't have been what it was in later years due to her higher weight. So this weakened version Rexy overpowering Indom at this lightweight means that like that Spinosaurus, an animal who weighs.
You're not supposed to be giving like a synopsis of like everything that happened. Just like state why you think you won. Like, I think I won because this guy didn't.
I didn't even really get to finish. I didn't even really get to finish my argument. When I said conclusions, I meant like conclude like the argument of like whether Indom dodge or whatever. Because what I'm trying to conclude is that like I didn't really get to finish like arguing for Spino. I argued Rexy overpowering Indom, but I didn't really get to mention Spino. So can I mention Spino to really wrap up my argument and give you what I was trying to say?
We can get to that after this point. I mean, we can probably postpone this because it's like 2:15 and it's taken us like 1,000 hours to get anywhere. So
it is pretty late. All right, then let's just get a conclusion on the specific point then. So my point was that Rexy physically overpowered Indom because of what we saw, and that neither of us really got anywhere with our points because I agreed that yes, battle IQ and dexterity helped Indom, and he agreed that yes, physical strength was like put in the favor of Rexy, and that Rexy was like overpowering her at points. We pretty much came to mutual synopsis throughout the point, but I think that like the fact that Draco kind of talked about, or at least semi-admitted that physical strength was like more tipped in Rexy's favor in one way or another, points to that like showing
physical strength overall.
Yeah, that's why I said one way or another.
This point felt more
so one way or
than anything because like we kind of just stalemated on everything and made zero progress.
Yeah, well, we pretty much agreed to each other's points in the end.
Yeah, so basically a stalemate on this point.
Alright, so I'll explain Spino then. I'll explain where Spino ties in.
It's like 216.
Oh. Honestly, yeah, I need to go to sleep too. My sister's gonna kill me.
Honestly, I have a fucking math test I gotta pass tomorrow.
Okay, well.
Alright, real quick,
Well,
so far what we done is I won the first point on like something
JP1
about
Rexy.
aggressiveness, and
Something about JP1 Rexy, yeah.
yeah, and whatever this point is, we stalemated on it, so like doesn't really matter. Mondo, next time we continue the debate, he's gonna like get back on with more Spino scaling or whatever, and, like
Explaining like how Spino ties into this last part of my scaling.
yeah. All right.